Gibson is not holding back on these new models, holy cow. So we've got a whole bunch of new ones from this week. The ones that came out last week we'll cover in a separate episode. But we'll start things off with the Faded series. So if you're not familiar with the Faded series, they were reintroduced 2 years ago. It was just a regular 50s and 60s standard, but they featured these satin matte finishes. They took the pickup covers off. You can check out this episode if you want to learn all about it. But they only came in 2 colors. Kind of this cherry sunburst on one of the neck profiles, and then he had more of a honey burst over here, kind of giving you Slash-like vibes. These were birthed from the popularity on the used market of the early Faded guitars that people like Larry Corsa made very popular. By doing their modifications to them and souping them up, the finish just allows it to breathe, is what people believed. So as of right now, the original ones are still here. However, it wouldn't surprise me if they get phased out. Because here's the new offering for the 60s Faded. We've got Vintage Cherry and a Vintage Bourbon Burst. But at first glance, you're going to notice, hey, we've got our pickup covers back, so it's just the whole satin finish, and you're still rocking your 60s burst buckers. But when they launched, they were actually $24.99. So these are actually seeing a reduction in price down to $22.99, whereas the other Les Pauls have gone up a bit. I think that's a great move because while I do like this model, I just thought it was kind of expensive for what it is. But now it's just another price point. So you could get a solid colored one for $26. You can get your regular flame top for $27.99. There's also some premium ones that are dealer exclusives for up to like $3,000-ish. But the same thing's true for the 50 standard. You've got your similar honey burst still being offered, just now with the coverings, which is why I think the uncovered ones will eventually be phased out. But this one is the winner for me, Vintage Tobacco Burst. If they all look this good, yeah, I'm quite happy with that finish. If anybody wants to new guitar dye any of these, feel free to hit me up and we can make it happen. If you're not sold on the idea of a satin finish, you can actually hand polish these into a semi-gloss finish. It's never going to be the same as the super ultra factory gloss, but it's going to be a lot closer if that's what you want to do. Your results will depend if you're doing it by hand or if you have a nice buffing machine. It's always an option out there for someone. But the 50s version uses the Burstbucker 1 and 2 pickups. However, there was more than one standard introduced. I'm very excited for this. A hog top TV yellow. This is a lot of fun. TV yellow on a Les Paul standard? Yes. This one, you can see a lot of wood grain, and a lot of the dealer photos I have been seeing, it's not as apparent, so you kind of got to shop around for that. But this reminds me of some of like the old Carina Les Pauls. But some Les Paul standards in the 50s actually lacked the maple top, as did most of the Les Paul customs in that era. So this is just something fun and different. Yeah, they say it gives you more mid-range. We'll have to see if there's any truth behind that. It's certainly not going to be for everyone, and if you're wondering, why does it look so different? It's just a color. It's because of the black plastics and black binding. It's certainly a very unique look. And at $25.99, not too shabby. However, there's also a Gibson exclusive version in Vintage Cherry. Maybe this one looks better in person, but I just feel like it's a dressed up studio at this point. Something about the plain black pickguard just doesn't look as nice, and the black binding on the fretboard doesn't pop as much as it does against the TV yellow finish, but your opinions might vary. I would love to see an aged silver fox get introduced onto that series, but that is technically a brand new model, the hog tops. Maybe they can introduce a solid ebony version with gold hardware to give you kind of like a standard custom configuration. But that's actually available in 60s and 50s neck variation, which is fantastic. But next, Gibson coming out of left field. I never thought I'd see this day. They brought back the ES330 in 3 main colors. So you've got your 60s cherry, you've got a very traditional tobacco sunburst, and you've got a beautiful natural, with a secret Gibson.com exclusive ebony version. And these are being priced at $3,499. Now to the average viewer, you're probably just like, okay, what's special about that? The Gibson production version of this guitar has always been overshadowed by the Epiphone Casino because of John Lennon association with the Beatles and all that good stuff. So that's why we saw Gibson bring these things back under the Epiphone USA branding a couple of years ago, back around 2021, and we reviewed many different colors on those. However, not everyone is a vintage Epiphone fan. But due to it being overshadowed by it, we have not seen a production-level Gibson ES330 in a long time. Now, what's the difference between a 330 and a 335? It's the center block. The 330 doesn't have one. It's a fully hollow guitar. It's a completely different animal. In fact, it's really for different players in general. If you like 335s, you might not enjoy these. However, at the same time, it might be something that appeals to you. So I don't know if these are going to be like super hot sellers for Gibson, but I appreciate them listening to the fan base that's like, hey, where's the ES330 been forever? The last time it was in production was actually the Slim Harpo Lavelle signature from 2021, which isn't that long ago, but you got to remember, before that, it was just a really big long gap outside of custom shop models. So similar to the Lavelle, I mean, they basically just brought the Lavelle back is what it looks like with a few small plastics changes. But now we don't have any name associated with them, and they're going to stay in production. The 3500 seems a little bit expensive, but when you compare it to the other semi-hollow models, I mean, they take probably just as much time to create, even without the center block, because it's all the pressing of the woods, top, back, and sides. But another big difference between the models is look at your neck joint, going on your 17th fret rather than down here. I would be interested to see if they eventually do a long neck variety, but you also have P90 pickups to make this one a little bit more unique. I had a viewer message me saying he might want to pick one of these things up, so hopefully we'll see one on the show. We'll see. But hey, it's October, so you know what that means. Another Joe Bonamassa signature. This year, we're actually getting two, so I'm not going to talk too much because I'm definitely going to review this. This is a 1955 reissue Copper Iridescent. So from stock photos, honestly, it's really not that exciting, but if you go to the Joe Bonamassa video, it is a little bit more exciting. So this is like a rare custom color type thing. They made very few of them. Most people don't even know they exist if it wasn't for Joe Bonamassa. It's cool. I like it. It's P90. He decided not to go for like the Gibson headstock or anything like that. He wanted to keep the price down this year, which I'm very thankful for, because the past couple of years of the Joe B models have been not as exciting as they have been in the past. Because 2023 was an SG Custom. Gorgeous, right? 3 humbuckers, but that's not necessarily for everyone. So some people have to pass because they didn't necessarily like that. In 2022, you had like a 335 with a Vibrola again. So if you don't like Vibrolas, you were out that year. Lazarus, honestly, that was a really good one. But I think my latest favorite one was the 2020 release, the 3-pickup Black Beauty Custom with the all yellowed over look and the Epiphone tuners. That one just sticks in my head more so than the other ones. But here's how you find videos. Go to YouTube, type in my name, Trogly, Trogly, and then what you're looking for, Joe Bonamassa. So you can find videos on all these if you're interested, including the weird Firebird headstock Les Paul. Joe's had so many signature models, well-deserved success. So he's got P90s on his guitar now. It's no Vibrolas or anything like that. This seems like a very good model that has the potential to sell quite a few. Although I'm not seeing a published limited edition number. So I wonder if they'll just produce them for a little bit or what's going on. I'm not seeing it anywhere on his website either. But by the way, if you go to Joe Bonamassa's actual website, for the same price, you can also get 2 meet and greets if that's your style. And as always, for about $100 more, you can get the Vanity model. So this one is limited edition to 300 and you have to buy it from there. If you want to have Joe Bonamassa on the fretboard, that's up to you. But to wrap up tonight, Joe's got not only 1, but 2 signature guitars coming up. Now, as of right now, this has only been teased in the video. It's not official on like Gibson's website. I'm imagining it's a Gibson Garage exclusive, anywhere between $25,000 and $50,000. But it's a master artisan created Murphy Labbed aged version of his Amos guitar. So he has an old Epiphone version. They're wildly popular. Gibson finally decided to do the real deal with the mix-matched output jack plate, the monoplaque truss rod cover. It's exciting if you like the story behind this guitar. It is pretty cool and how they've recreated a few small things. I'm not that excited for it. Mainly because we already have a collector's edition Brazilian rosewood fretboard version of this guitar that was like $25,000, and we've got all the $10,000 Flying V Carinas that people can possibly buy, and they show up in the demo shop. There's just been so many of these things made the past couple of years. I wish this one would have came out before those, because then maybe I could be more excited for it. But, you know, if you're one of those super high-end modern-day Gibson guitar collectors, it's going to be a must-have. So we'll just have to wait for some more information as far as that. And again, if you're going to buy it, you want to see it on the show, feel free to hit me up and we can figure that out. Because it does look nice. it just doesn't look that different from the other Carina Vs that we've seen outside of having a heavier aging job. All right, Troglodytes, let me know in the comments, what is your favorite new model? If you think I missed one, again, I'm sorry, I'm behind here. I do have a different video. It was recorded last week. I just never got around to editing it. So we'll talk about studios and stuff before you know it. All right, take care.